was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall in the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. It's taken a lot for me to do that. I've loved to sing for as long as I can remember, but when I was younger, I was never fazed by the fact that I could sing. And for a long time, I thought everyone else could too. It never occurred to me that it was my hidden talent or that it was something that made me different from everyone else. It took me a while to figure this out. I always knew I had a decent voice, but I never had the confidence to show other people. I kept it to myself until about 2 years ago, my sophomore year of high school. For a long time, no one in my family knew that I could sing. They always heard me in the shower or around the house, but seeing as no one else in our family has a gifted voice, they just assumed that was for me too. So they would just be extremely annoyed by my singing and just tell me to shut up. My favorite place to sing is by far in the shower, partly because of the outstanding acoustics, but also because I didn't think anyone else could hear me. Well, I found out this wasn't necessarily true when one day, as I walked out of the bathroom, my parents both complimented me on my voice. Of course, I was extremely embarrassed and ran off to my room. This was about 10 years ago, the first time my parents found out that I actually could sing. My parents both wanted me to do something with singing, but my dad was more laid back, and my mom, on the other hand, not so much. She signed me up for gospel choir at our local church. I quit about 1 week later. She signed me up for voice lessons, which I also quit after my first day because I was scared of the teacher and wouldn't sing for him. My mom tried and kept trying to get me to sing for her and my family, but for the longest time, and with every request, I refused. She didn't understand why I was so hesitant all the time. I knew all along it was my lack of confidence. Confidence is a funny thing. No one really seems to know where it comes from, but we all know how easy it is to lose. It came time for my interview at Brooks. Mr. McVeigh was my interviewer. As we got to the near end, he asked me if I was into any arts. He asked, "Do you paint, dance, sing?" And before he could finish what he was saying, I interrupted excitedly and said, "Ooh, I love to sing." Mr. McVeigh then went on to ask if I was part of any musical group, like a choir, a band, etc. And I so casually said, "No, I just love to sing in the shower." Mr. McVeigh and I laugh about it now, but I'm sure in the moment he thought one of two things. Either this girl's weird, or this poor girl must have misunderstood my question. To my surprise, a few months later, I was accepted into Brooks, even after my humiliating interview. He must have seen something good there. Flashing forward to my freshman year at Brooks, I came in knowing absolutely no one. I was the only person who came here from my school, and so I had to make all new friends. My best friend that I met freshman year coincidentally also loves to sing. The first time I found this out, I told her I could too, and as much as she tried to get me to perform with her that year, I wouldn't do it. However, somehow she convinced me to try out for an all-girls a cappella group called Serendipities. The tryout for Serendipities would consist of me singing a song solo in front of the two heads of the club. No way, that is so awkward and I'm way too scared for that. But I did it. A few days after the tryout, we were notified whether or not we made it. That year, I didn't make it, but my friend did. I was horrified. It was a worst-case scenario for someone who already doubted herself and her singing all the time. I immediately felt my confidence shrivel up, and in that moment, I made it clear that I would never sing in front of anyone ever again. Well, about a year later, somehow, that same friend convinced me to try out for Serendipities again. Although part of me was hesitant, the other part of me wanted to try out to prove everyone wrong, to prove that I did belong in that group with everyone else. So I went to the tryout and I sang Hallelujah in front of the two new senior heads of the club. This time, I made it. And as much as I tried to play it off like it wasn't that big of a deal to me, it was pretty huge. In that moment, finding out that I had made it made me feel more confident in myself than I ever had before. Later that week, during our first club meeting, the heads told us that we would be singing the song How to Be a Heartbreaker at a school meeting and would need 3 people to try out for solos. This same friend convinced me to try out for the solo part, and we both got one. But the coolest part about getting the solos was that at the end, both of us would get to sing the chorus alone together. This would be the first time we ever sang together. After practicing over and over again for the entire fall season, it was finally the day to perform in front of the school. That day, to say that I was nervous would be a complete understatement. This was going to be the first time I ever sang in front of a crowd of people, the first time most of these people would hear me sing. Fearful thoughts of messing up filled my head. What if I forget the words? Or have a voice crack? No, Mairi, you will do great, stop worrying. It seemed as though school meeting would never come, but it finally did. Our group walked onto the stage, and I followed behind in the back. As I looked up, bright lights blinding my eyes, I faintly saw the whole school ahead of me. I began to shake from head to toe in complete fear. As I started to sing the words, I could feel the hundreds of eyes on me. I was so awkward up there and had no idea what to do, so I just stood still, tapping my leg with my hand along the beat of the song. Everything seemed to be going smoothly, and then I had a voice crack. Of course, with my luck, I have a voice crack my first time performing in front of a crowd. Everyone started to laugh, and I just covered my mouth with my hands and turned away. But I wasn't going to stop there and give up. So I turned back towards the crowd and finished my solo. Weirdly enough, I wasn't as embarrassed as I thought I would be, which I guess is a good thing. But afterwards, people kept saying, "Don't worry, I didn't even notice," which I appreciated in the moment, but I know everyone noticed. It was hard not to. Later that year, my friend and I decided to sing at Brookstock, which is a fun outdoor music festival at school. We had trouble trying to pick a song until we decided to go with Hallelujah. As the day of Brookstock approached, I felt those past feelings of fear quickly coming back to me. As I walked up to the microphone this time, I felt my body shaking more than it had that time at school meeting. Luckily, I had sunglasses on, so I just closed my eyes the whole entire time, trying to forget about the hundreds of eyes on me and my friend. Our performance went smoothly, and I thankfully made it through without having a voice crack. As sophomore year came to a close, I realized how much I had come out of my comfort zone. In less than a year, I was able to somewhat overcome my stage fright and lack of confidence and sing in front of people. But for some reason, I still wouldn't sing for my family. My mom and dad always got frustrated with me because they never understood why I wouldn't invite them to my performances and why I wouldn't sing for them, but would sing for 300 people. And honestly, I can't explain why either. The summer going into junior year, I finally sang for them for the first time. We were at my friend's house with all my other friends and their parents. This one night, I was finally convinced to sing Hallelujah with my friend in front of everyone. This is a night I will never forget. As I sang, I could see the tears rolling down my mom's cheeks and the smile on her face. For the past 8 years, all she ever wanted was to hear my voice, but I was selfish, unconfident, and kept it to myself. In that moment, she made me realize how proud she was of me. She made me wonder why I had been so insecure about my voice for so long. She made me confident. As the next year went by, I sang more and more with my friend Alex. You would think that with each time performing on stage, the butterflies and nerves would lessen, but that is not the case for me. Tonight was my first time singing all alone in front of a crowd, and I can honestly say I am shaking more now than I was my very first time on stage. Yes, I had my 30 seconds of fame singing a solo sophomore year, but even then I had a whole group standing behind me. But not tonight. Tonight I am here singing for myself, for my confidence, and for my family. After 10 years of holding back and keeping my voice from them, what better opportunity than tonight to do the opposite? The opportunity that I've been given to come out of my comfort zone is all because of Brooks. I remember being told before I came here that Brooks is a place where you get to try new things and find yourself, but I never took that into heart until it actually happened to me. While I've been here, I took the chance to overcome my fears and sing. It wasn't easy, and it still isn't easy to perform, but I know if it wasn't for Brooks, I would still only be singing in the shower. Brooks took me because they believed in me before I believed in myself. Then, Brooks provided me the opportunities that allowed me to fail, to learn, and to succeed. And finally, a friend I met at Brooks wouldn't let me give up on myself and inspired me first to sing next to her and now to sing alone in front of you. None of this would have happened anywhere else, and this is truly a special place for which I am beyond thankful for. My voice is what makes me different from other people. It is my special talent. I can't paint or dance, and I am probably the worst dancer, but I can sing. It is such a huge part of who I am, and it has so much meaning in my life. Before I end this speech, I have a few last words. But maybe there's a God above. But all I've ever learned from love is how to shoot somebody who outdrew ya. And it's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Thank you.